Hey guys, I just wanted to share with you the wonders of painting your canvas because, well, lo and behold, it is a canvas. And canvas is meant to be painted on. So right here you can see where I've been painting on this. It's nice and shiny and bright and everything looks so pretty. It's, it looks so nice, right? So I mean, if we look at it, you can tell it's definitely shiny and bright. But this isn't actually what I'm using. I'm using a matte. So when it's completely dry, it is going to be a monotone look. So this gives you an idea what it looks like on two coats, even around the corner where it has that little extra sticky. And as you can see, I did that on purpose there, so you can see that it will scratch. This is pretty much like chalkboard paint right here. I've even seen some people use this as chalkboard paint. It's just regular black craft matte acrylic paint. As you can see, this has had a lot of uses for me. It's actually almost out. I've probably only got about like this much left. But this one here, I've actually been working on it for a little bit because I've always been trying to do different ways to frame my diamond paintings, and I found that trying to make a matte frame out of poster board or getting it done at the store is just way too expensive. And this was a kit I got from Amazon. I got two of them. So I got two of them for $14 or $16. I mean, it wasn't bad. So I got the frames at Goodwill, a secondhand shop, and I thought there's got to be a better way of doing this. So, I mean, when we look at what they originally had in there, there was some really crappy pictures and some really bad matte frames, which I thought, hey, I can just paint those and make them look nice. Well, the matte frames, unless you can get it cut to the same dimension as the actual diamonds, they don't want to fit in the frames correctly. So, canvas. Canvas can be painted. Guess what? We're painting canvas. And when you actually put this in the frame, you can't tell that this is not an actual matte picture. Like, it looks just like something that was professionally done. So I just kind of wanted to give you that little insight as to what it looks like as, an overall picture itself. I did end up painting the bottom behind it because some of these, when they cut them, they don't cut them exactly right. So sometimes, like mine is a little off balanced, and so a little corner is picking out here and there as I put it in the frame. So just by painting the back of it, it even helps cover that part of it up. So I didn't have to use any washi tape, and just in case if your diamonds weren't exactly lined up, that's a problem with like washi tape or painter's tape or even a matte that you get done. Sometimes those diamonds don't fit up correctly or they stick out. The best thing about paint is that if you get a little bit on the diamonds, you can wipe it off. Or if you're like me and you just don't care, hey, leave it. So I actually will end up going back through and wiping off the paint. And if you actually are like me and you listen to music while you do things, you'll find that sometimes you get a little carried away, and as you can see, there's a little bit of black around my yellow. Well, that's because you're not supposed to be dancing and painting at the same time, especially when you're up around the corners. So when you start to dancing, and your hand gets a little off kilter, well, that's what happens is you end up getting paint in places you don't want paint to be. So I just kind of wanted to go over here with you and show you how I do the corners and get them up around the edges without actually getting it on the diamonds. So at this point here, I'm going to start down at the bottom and give a little bit of pressure to my paintbrush, and I'm going to slowly bring it up around just towards the very edge of my diamonds. So I am starting to get a little bit on here because I was actually using the viewfinder. So let's bring it back down. So we want the very, 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 very edge of the paintbrush to go up by the diamonds. Let the bristles do the work for you and push the paint where you want it to go. You don't actually have to have your paintbrush fully at the edge of your diamonds. It will go right up against them, and the little tiny hairs, if you've got a good paintbrush, is going to fill this in correctly. So you may have noticed that my paintbrush is not a normal paintbrush. This is actually a makeup brush. My daughter had decided she was going to use it for, I don't know, something to do with her nail art that she was doing, and she ended up getting some kind of cleaner on it, and then she used fingernail polish remover to clean it with, and of course, at that point I was like, no, you're not putting something that had fingernail polish on your face. Or fingernail polish remover on her face. And then the rest of it is just something that you can kind of blend into it to keep from having any paint lumps or creases or anything. You want to try to keep the area that you're working with in a smooth, fluid motion. Because if you just go all the way around it, and then if you try to go all the way around it again on the very edge, it's going to leave a little crease in the middle where your paint dried there. And basically at that point, it's going to look very obvious that it was painted. But right now, if you can keep all the paint together, pretty much as fluid as possible, and you can even kind of go a little fast as you get used to the paintbrush and as it's moving. When you're done, if you're really, really concerned about the paint being right up against the edge of your drills, you can use painter's tape to lay it down right along the edge, exactly where you've already painted on your canvas. And then you can clean up your drills with a new paintbrush or a Q-tip or something that's got maybe a little bit of cleaner on it to get that off. And if you just use regular craft paint, that is washable, so that is something that will come off of the drills. Even if you got just a little bit up on the edge, you're not going to notice really. I'm telling you right now, from a distance you really can't tell. So keep an eye on your paint, because as you work you might get those little paint clumps from where it's drying in your container like I just had. You don't want to leave anything like that on your canvas. So again, this is just an option for those who really have a good steady hand and like that option of the painted look. Matte is the way to go, because glossy is going to really stand out against your picture. If you want to, you can even, when you're done, seal it with Mod Podge. If you seal your entire picture, you can just do the canvas as well, but I personally, I don't do that. I like the extra shine, and I think the matte really stands out against the shine of the diamonds. So, ooh, I got a little hair. So it is kind of one of those things. I put mine in frames with glass. That way the picture is protected and the shine is protected and the matte stands out and doesn't deter away from the actual picture. So as you can see, this doesn't take very long to do. And since it is craft paint and it is on canvas, canvas is an actual, art item. This is something that, as remember at the very beginning of the video, was wet. Now it's basically dry. So it doesn't take very long. This is something I highly recommend to do with your diamond paintings, because it may take about 10 minutes to paint your frame. 3 coats, definitely 3 coats. But I'm telling you, it makes it so much better and so much nicer when you actually do frame it. So I will also post a picture of this once it's actually fully framed, so that way you can get an idea of what it looks like. I mean, it looks exactly like a store mat, like one that was professionally done. It just looks so good. So, hey guys, throw me your comments, suggestions. Let's see what everybody else kind of has as a suggestion, or what it is that you like to do with your diamond paintings and your frames and how you like to mount them and frame them. So if you have any of those suggestions, I'm totally up for them, and I might try to do them in a future video. So thanks, guys. Yeah, great rest of your day, y'all. Bye.